Hey guys, Bouncy 55 here. In this video, I hope you guys got your snacks ready, because it's time for Bouncy Spooktober Stories. In this video, I will tell you guys 2 different stories that involve spooky and Halloween related experiences. Are you ready to get your spook on? Then let's cue the intro! So, starting off with the first story, let me tell you guys about the one time I experienced a paranormal activity when I was about 5 years old. Now, full disclosure here, take this story with a grain of salt. Whether you believe in the paranormal or not, this is just a fun story I thought I'd share with you guys on what I experienced. I understand there could be a rational explanation for this, so let's get started, shall we? So this story takes place when I was about 4 or 5 years old. I woke up in the morning, and I remember it was very early in the morning, as the house was still somewhat dim, but the light was softly coming through. I got up from my bed and noticed a shadowy figure of a woman holding a baby in the doorway of my room. I assumed it was my mom holding my baby sister, so then I got up to approach them. Thinking back, it could have been my mom who was probably rocking my sister to go back to sleep. However, I found myself staring at this figure in silence. It never spoke a word, and I never spoke either. So if it was my mom, how come she never spoke up or said anything like good morning or go back to sleep? I tilted my head, and the figure did the same thing. Then I shook my head, and the figure did the same thing. It was following my every single movement, but slightly delayed. I found myself amused with it, like it was some sort of game, not thinking much about the figure in my doorway. Then I stuck my tongue out to be cheeky. And for some reason, I just got this feeling, something telling me to run back to my bed and cover myself with the sheets. So I did that. Later on, I heard my mom wake up and open the door to her room. She saw that I was awake and asked, "Why am I up so early?" I told her that I woke up and couldn't go back to sleep. Then I asked her why was she standing there in the doorway with my sister. She said, "What do you mean? I didn't get up until now, and your sister is asleep." And that's all I can remember. To this day, I'm still trying to figure out what could be the possible explanation to this. However, I get the feeling it could have been a shadow person. Just to quickly discuss this in case you don't know what shadow people are, they are the perception of a shadow as a living humanoid figure and interpreted as the presence of a spirit. So this could very well have been a shadow person in my room. Now, I never had any other encounters like this after that one time, so to not make this video under 5 minutes, I have another story time. This next story happened 5 or 6 years ago. When I was in high school, this was the time I went to Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida. Every October season, theme parks such as Universal Studios and Busch Gardens have horror/haunted house theme events set up. Now, I made plans to go that year since I've always wanted to go experience the thrill of these spooky haunted houses. I went with my dad, a family friend of ours, and his son, and these 2 girls who one of them will call Liza Koshi. Lol, just kidding. For the sake of this video, we will call her Liza, and the other girl who we'll call A. Now, Liza and A were people who I knew from middle school. Liza and I talked a lot since we were in the same grade, and A was Liza's younger sister. So, the 2 of them came over around 7 p.m. We were waiting for our family friend who would come to pick us up to drive us to the theme park since the event started at 8 p.m. Everything pretty much went fine until we got to the park's gate entrance. Liza was carrying a handbag with her that held a couple of her belongings, such as her phone. When it was her turn to get her bag inspected, the employee pointed out that she has markers in her bag. It was most likely she used them for school. However, this staff member told her that markers aren't allowed and that she had to dump them out. I'm not sure why markers were a no-no on the list. One of the official rules at Universal is that you are not allowed to bring face paint, masks, or costumes in. This is most likely to keep guests from trying to act as part of the hired actors who jump scare people. Still, they made Liza throw out her markers in the nearest trash bin because apparently markers count as face paint and her costumes. After Liza dumped our markers in the nearest trash bin, we went ahead into the theme park and into the haunted houses. After going through a couple of haunted houses, the theme park rides were accessible, so we decided to go on the Simpsons ride, which is a 3D motion simulator ride. Unfortunately, A got a little motion sickness once we got off the ride, so we had to take a break while Liza took her sister to the nearest bathroom. Once it was getting close to midnight and the park was going to close soon, we headed out for the night, and went to drop off Liza and A back home. This is where the night sort of left on a semi-sour and awkward note. When we got to Liza and A's home, their dad, who seemed like he was waiting for them impatiently, came up to the car, and the first thing this man says is, "Liza and A, where the hell were you? Why didn't you answer the phone?" So the phone Liza and A brought to keep in touch with their dad ran out of battery, so I'm assuming when their dad tried calling them, he didn't get a response, and according to Liza, he was quite overprotective. Then he goes, "Why did you come back so late? Come on, get out the car and get in the house. You two are grounded. You're never doing this type of outing again, you hear me?" Everyone in the car just stayed silent while Liza and A got out the car, and I said goodbye to them and goodnight. We drove off after that, but my dad and our family friend made some comments about how the dad was extremely disrespectful for not even saying thank you for bringing his daughters back safely, or for inviting them. I'm not sure what the dad expected, but I guess the fact we came home at 2 a.m. the next morning was probably unexpected for him, and the fact he couldn't reach his daughters. I don't think Liza and A had a curfew or anything, so I don't know what the issue was. While I understand he was most likely concerned, but the way he sounded so frustrated and upset and disregarded us, the entire time he was scolding his daughters, he never once acknowledged us. He didn't say, "Hi, how was it? Did you guys have fun? Thanks for inviting my daughters." No, straight up backlashed his daughters like we didn't exist to him. He was just so upset with his daughters for coming back so late. That was totally uncalled for, and he sort of killed the mood of the evening we had. Well guys, that's all I have for stories. Hopefully you enjoyed this type of video. I know this probably is the first time I posted a story time like this, so if you enjoyed it, let me know in the comments below and share with me what your strangest or most exciting October/Halloween story is. I'll see you guys in the next upload. Bouncy Azumerl 55 signing off.